Motorball is like racing. It's straight from the manga.
It's very easy to underestimate a pipsqueak teenage girl until she goes into action. And then you better watch your ass.
On the outside, the sport of motorball can look like NASCAR meets MMA fighting. On the inside, it's a very individual sport about becoming the champion.
Almost like a NASCAR meets gladiatorial games. Your favorite high-speed action. And it's piped through all over the city. There's big screens all around. Just to placate the masses.
What is that?
It's motorball.
That's so cool.
Motorball is the preeminent sport of Iron City, beyond the level that soccer is the preeminent sport in Latin America and lots of parts of the world. It's like, it's the one and only. When there's a giant game happening, the city's quiet, basically because a giant chunk of the city's residents have gone to the massive stadium to go see it.
People are so obsessed with Motorball and the stats and the players and the games. It's a favorite pastime.
You go out into a very complex racetrack with obstacles and tunnels and jumps. A stadium with 400,000 people cheering in the stands.
It is a very destructive, a very violent game.
There is a ball shot out at the start of the race. Competitors battle each other for control of the ball.
It's a game of possession. Throughout the track, there's different gates. As long as they're holding the motor ball, they score points.
It's a vicious game. You're allowed to hit anybody. You're allowed to make contact.
No one can have a gun. Everything is attached to their body. Maces, clubs. On the motor ball, it has these places for fingers in the hole in case you want to swing it around, use it as a weapon. The motorball we took directly from the comic book. They had a scale, a size to it. They even had the weight. It has these gyros, so they move independently. You can never predict where the motorball goes.
It was really tricky to take the words on the page and extrapolate out into a three-dimensional world.
Even though we conceived it, the majority of the actual physical track in the game, it's digital.
Take an outdoor sporting arena in any city in the world, put 10 of them together. You're still probably not as big.
It was meant to be a sport played for hundreds of years in this arena, showing a lot of wear and tear. It needed to be grungy.
We found a fantastic video of an amazing water park, and they turned off the water and they let a couple skaters in there. It just gave this great feel of the size of it. This was a much more immersive type of atmosphere. Rather than Daytona or an Indy 500, the track goes all the way through and it's like a mosh pit. We constantly tried to get them back together, whether it was pinching it down at times or having a curved track on either side. The fans liked the physicality of it.
Motorball was a combination of a lot of keyframe animation and performance capture.
The motorball scene was particularly challenging because we knew the real motorball sport with the pros is so high speed on the racetrack at 100 miles an hour. It's going to have to be computer generated because you just could not move that fast. The action, it was really too blistering and dangerous.
We keyframe stunts to be bigger and broader than is physically possible in the real world.
Whatever techniques you need to make it work, it needed to be fast and dangerous, but still keeping it real.
The first league of play we see in Motorball is the Champions League.
Robert really wanted to hang on to the Kishiro designs from the original manga. A lot of those characters look beautifully designed, each one with its own kind of style and personality.
These are not machines. These are being driven by humans, athletes with multiple bodies.
Oh, crap.
Joshigan, black and gold power on the track, going up against Claymore, a knight in shining armor. Juggernaut, his multiple arms, picking up the ball. Adjicut, race car green, speeding around the track. Scaramasicus, with his big blades, like this giant snowplow. Kanuba, able to shoot out Grind Cutter that shreds anything they hit. Crimson Wind weaves with such dexterity, competing against people who are 4 or 5 times her size. And Alita It's not the size of the man in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the man. In this case, the woman.
Alita does a cutthroat version. Everybody's against each other. It's just complete chaos, like a demolition.
You get all these different warriors with their different looks, people with bladed hands and all kinds of contraptions.
Hulking cyborgs, they got spikes and blades and saws and armor, and they're like nasty dudes. And then you have Alita who's like, I want to play Motorball.
Here come new prospects.
And then she's this tiny, compact little girl. What's up?
But Alita has this incredible strength and ferociousness to her.
She doesn't need all the accoutrement, and I really like that. All the guys are like, look at my bells and whistles, and she's like, hi. She takes them all down.